places. There is no other country in the world that is situated geographically in an area so strategically important to the world. We have the Middle Eastern oil and the mouth of the Persian Gulf just at Pakistan's southern frontier in the ocean. We have Iran and China and India and Russia. These four very huge powers in the world, all having their own influence and their own agendas. And Pakistan is this country situated in the middle of all of that, in a very direct way. It's the bad luck of Pakistan to be in this situation. It's not the fault of any human being that it's like this, but this is the reality, and it creates many roadblocks for Pakistan. It also creates opportunities, but it also creates a lot of chance for instability and difficulty.
And it's you may say that thought-provoking thing that Pakistan is geopolitically very important country. America understands all these things.
America's leaders may understand, but the kids in America, they don't understand that.
Why don't they are told about it? Because they are the future of America.
I can only guess. I can only make a guess because I'm not in government of US.
You are not a policymaker.
I'm not a policymaker. I'm not in media. The only thing that I can think of is that in human nature, we tend to say the bad things. We tend to only report the bad stuff. And maybe there's some, it's possible, there's some very wealthy defense contractors in America who sell more bullets and more bombs and make more money if there's instability and conflict in the world. So I would hate to think that it's that kind of evil that is creating these misperceptions. But I don't know, maybe it is.
In all these circumstances, how much do you see the American and Pakistani youth future with each other?
I don't know. But with Sonic Peacemakers, with these kind of efforts, that's our aim, is to bring more young Pakistanis and more young Americans, in fact, people from all over the world, together through music and love and peace. And then, once they get to know each other on that level, they'll see each other as partners rather than adversaries. Then they can work to look at the problems and solve the problems together rather than be apart. So I am hopeful, and I pray to God, inshallah, that the kids of all the nations will come together and decide to throw away this idea of aggression, war, and superpowers, and might is right, and speaking highly of human rights, but then not pursuing human rights. I hope the kids of this world will take over from the generation that has failed it, a generation that has chosen too often war and conflict and dishonesty, and rather let's all work together. We are on this ship, you know, it's like a, I hope so, it's like a ship, you know, a ship on the ocean. This planet is like a ship on the ocean. And when you have a ship on the ocean, that crew, they're all together, and they have to battle the storms together. If they don't battle the storms together, the ship will sink. And this planet is just like a ship with a lot of people on it. And if we don't work together, then the ship will sink. So let's not let it sink. It doesn't have to sink.
That all these discussions and protect your views, your ideas, and prosperity. Now let's come to a word. What you get, what you do, and what you do. First of all, there are views that when Todd Shea become a singer from a school, and when a singer become a humanity worker, just disaster, what was your views about before disaster and post disaster?
Well, I never thought I would do disaster relief work. I never thought I was qualified for it. I never realized. I didn't go to school for disaster relief. I didn't go to training for disaster relief. But my life's been a disaster. So I've learned from my own life. I've had a tough life in my childhood. I was, basically, my mom passed away. She died when I was 12. And I was not close to my father after that. We had a lot of problems in the family. So I was kind of on my own. And in that time, I became addicted to drugs. I got very much addicted to very heavy drugs, and like cocaine and acid and things like that. So for about 4 or 5 years, I was in a really bad shape. But then music saved my life. I joined the United States Marine Corps, and in training, I got all of those drugs out of my system. But they caught me. They did a test and they found the drugs in my system. So they threw me out of Marines after a couple of months. But during that time, I got the drugs out of my system, and it saved my life. So I then began playing music because when I was 12, my mother gave me a guitar before she died. Actually, she bought it for me, but then she died, and I received the guitar after, just a month after. And it was her last gift to me. So very precious gift. And I learned that guitar, and I, even instead of school, sometimes I would skip school just to stay and learn my guitar. But it's one of the things that saved my life. And then being in the Marine Corps and being able to get off the drugs helped me. So then I started playing music, and I started getting good at it and successful, and having, being able to make a living playing music and support myself. Then I had a record deal. I got a record contract with a company, and they were taking care of me. They bought me this guitar, and I was playing some shows, and I did this showcase in New York. I was supposed to do a showcase in New York on the 12th of September 2001 with a lot of record companies, and I was on the cover of a couple of magazines, starting to do well. 9/11 happened the day before that show, and so I put my guitar down, and I took my big van, all of my musical equipment I took out of it. I started helping at Ground Zero, and where the Twin Towers fell. Started helping the firefighters there and getting them supplies. And I realized I was good at this. I was there for 5 days, and after 5 days, they didn't need me anymore. The larger efforts took shape. Yeah, but in the first days, I was very helpful and was able to do a lot, bringing supplies and helping with logistics, so that the firefighters who are trained to go into the burning buildings and try to save lives, they could concentrate on that. The more they had their supplies and their food taken care of, then they didn't have to worry about those things. So that's what I was helping to do, to arrange all of the supplies and logistics, medicines, whatever they needed. And many other people were also working on that, and I was one of them. And after that, I realized I was good at this disaster relief. So still, I didn't have the idea that I would do this for my life. But then all these disasters happened. Hurricane Katrina. Just before that, I was at the tsunami in Sri Lanka. The day that I got back from Hurricane Katrina was the day of the earthquake in Pakistan. I had just come in to give my son a hug. We sat down to the television. Just come in the door, not 5 minutes. We had a pizza. Turned on the television. Earthquake in Pakistan. And it was a very bad earthquake. And I was touched by the images that I saw of suffering, and I called the Pakistan embassy and I said, so I've been to these other disasters. Hurricane Katrina, I just came back. I was at tsunami earlier in the year. If you need me, then I'm there. So they gave me the name of a team of doctors going from United States, Pakistani-American doctors. So I called them, and I joined them as a logistics person. And I was within 1 week of leaving Hurricane Katrina in America. I was in Azad Kashmir, Jhelum Valley, Pakistan, and landing in a U.S. Army helicopter. And the U.S. Army did a great job. I saw them bringing so many supplies and taking out so many injured people. And this is
they do positive things also, but these are not highlighted. Yeah. In the both sides.
Exactly. No doubt about it. The media on both sides is not telling about each other good things. But at that time, Pakistan saw that American Army was doing a great job, and they were appreciating that. And I would like to see U.S. Army always doing this kind of work. Because there's a lot of places in the world that need it. And we could do that kind of work instead of fighting